My dad said to me, "Hey, you could come on into the office with me on Saturday morning." And the only thing I could do, I was so young, was operate the microfiche machine. And then I graduated to doing the photocopying. So when you put your children to work, even in Mississippi, that's not a good idea at that age. It's just too much. And I took on a lot of baggage. And when I was a junior in college, working 2 days a week in my dad's CPA firm, Fridays and Saturdays, and taking all my classes at the University of Southern Mississippi on Monday through Thursday, 2.5 hours away, I realized that my dad, he was a good man, and I think about him every day. I just loved him so much, and I'm so grateful for all he taught me. I mean, who else at 15 knows how to read a set of financial statements? But God bless him, he didn't want me to graduate from college. He wanted me to go to college and have that college experience, but he didn't have any commitment to me graduating. So every semester it was more and more difficult for me to get my tuition together and negotiate all those expectations with him. Neither of us were good at negotiating expectations, obviously. So I found a plan, and I concocted that plan, and I executed on that plan, and I escaped, and I got to Dallas, Texas, and I got myself a job in the downtown office of Touche Ross, which is now part of Deloitte. And I was so proud, and my dad was so proud, but I didn't fit in. If somebody there had had the awareness to tap me on the shoulder and say, well, why don't you come on over here? We're going to put you in the personnel department, let you work with people because you seem to love people so much. Or we're going to take you down here to the end of the hall and let you work with our business development people. I mean, I could have been their administrative assistant and worked my way up. I was happy, obviously happy to do anything, photocopying, anything. So, but nobody had the awareness at that time. So instead, I finished my degree, I got my CPA license, I worked in a variety of different roles as an accountant, and I wasn't good at any of them. And so I would often get fired, not because I wasn't smart and I wasn't a hard worker, and I certainly was taking a lot of initiative because I've been doing that since I was a little bitty kid, but because I had a conversation in my head about my boss, and it was the same conversation I had had about my dad. And the conversation went something like this: that guy's an idiot. It didn't matter if I worked for a man or a woman. It didn't matter if I was in tax or audit or consulting. I did them all. It was always the same because I was the common denominator. But when I would call my mama, when I would get fired and I would get these big severance packages and I would tell her, she'd say, well, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You're such a hard worker. They're intimidated by you. And I'd say, you're right, Mama. It's not my fault. And then the next time I got fired, she'd say, well, it's not your fault. You're just so smart. You're just so smart. You're too smart for that job. I'm like, you're right, Mom, I'm too smart. But finally, I had to look in the mirror and connect the dots. And I had been in maniac mode from the age of 15 to the age of 35 when I finally realized that I had to do something different. This was not working. Well, really, I discovered that when I was about 33. But it took me a few years to find, in the summer of 1995, 25 years ago, I found coaching, this brand new field of coaching. And I even found it through Thomas Leonard, the founder of the whole profession. And he signed me up for his coach training program. And I signed up on the spot. And I did learn a ton. But most of the tools that I use today are tools that I've built over the last 25 years working with the clients or over my lifetime. By the time I was 19 years old, I was taking what I now call strategic think time to catch myself and coach myself, to connect the dots. That's how I got out of Mississippi, and that strategic think time is how I got out of my unfortunate CPA career. And so I had been in overwhelm for so long, and it was just who I was, because I was being asked to do things as a young person that I wasn't trained to do. And that caused a fair amount of anxiety and stress. And so I built this body of work, 9 simple, practical, easy to implement time management habits. Those are in our Respond, Not React playbook that we'd be happy to share with you. And then I wrote this book to put together the rest of the body of work around self-leadership, self-alignment, team leadership, team alignment, and organizational-wide leadership and organizational-wide alignment. And what we do now at the Halpin Company is I quickly morph from coaching to facilitating, and I've been doing that now for almost 23 years. But what we do now is we do what we call the big reveal and the big fix. Two simple offerings. All can be done within 30, maybe 45 days, depending on the client's calendar and their availability. But we interview people using our proprietary tool that we've developed, a survey instrument, and we do those not face-to-face, of course, but live interviews over the telephone, and we find out what are the roadblocks, what are the obstacles, where are the silos, where are the toxic people. Because, see, all that stuff bubbled up over the last 25 years in my client engagements, but it was put me and the clients and my team in a reactive mode because we had already been engaged to do some other process, to facilitate some other process, an exit plan for a founder of a company, or a succession plan for a CEO in a big company, or a new CEO who wanted help building their team out. We were hired for those kinds of processes, but as we got involved, all this stuff would pop up like whack-a-mole. So now what we believe the highest value at the lowest cost that we can bring to the world is the big reveal and then the big fix, where we identify those obstacles and then we facilitate a workshop where the team comes together and develops an action plan to get each one of those resolved. Put Bob on the Step Up or Step Out program, and we'll give you our Step Up or Step Out program tools, or build a work environment where people feel more encouraged. Guess what? We got a tool for that too. We got all these tools that we'll give you and in the workshop so that you can then use them on your own and get these things cleaned up in 30, 60, 90 days. I look forward to sharing more about this with you because it's very exciting. We're very excited and very optimistic about how we can now expand our impact in the world today because of these great tools. Just remember the big reveal and the big fix.